Hi, this is Lonya with another StarCraft 2 commentary, and this time it's a Zerg versus Zerg, and we've got SayNoToStim as the blue Zerg in the bottom left, and Boo as the red Zerg kind of in the 12 o'clock-ish top position, and it's a ZVZ on Metalopolis. We've got these two players in the close positions, so they're going to both send their scouting overlords across here. They're going to know that the opponent's not here. They're probably going to send a reasonably early scout just to check out what the opponent's doing, because in Zerg versus Zerg it can be kind of pretty shaky in many ways, because you've kind of got to know what your opponent's doing and know how you're going to kind of go against it, because if they got a very early pull down then you want to get some kind of defense up fairly early. If they got a later pull, you don't want to be too far behind economically. You want to prepare for what they're doing, whether they're getting some some Zerglings, getting a Baneling nest down, getting a Roach nest, going Mutalisk or Hydra later on. So it's quite important to kind of know what the opponent's doing and kind of be prepared, and micro is incredibly important in this matchup, because basically in the early game, if you do get Zerglings against Banelings, which is most common, although sometimes one player might get Roaches, then basically you really need to control your Banelings and your Zerglings pretty much impeccably. And we see Boo getting his gas down first, nothing down yet from SayNoToStim, but he's getting his gas down too, fairly standard 13 gas, and then probably going to go for a 14 pull. And Boo's just complaining about his kind of typical Zerg versus Zerg. He dies trying to get to Mutas, which is quite often the goal of the game, if you can manage to kind of last just through the early bit. And we've got the spawn and pull now going down in both bases. Neither player can quite scout each other yet, but they do know that the other player's not in here, so they're just kind of Boo's sending his overlord just kind of across the map, and an overlord here just sat outside SayNoToStim's base, so they haven't sent out any drones to scout each other, so they're not completely sure where each other is, apart from knowing it's not close by air. So it's kind of just going fairly standard, probably going to get gas up with, Zergling speed up with the first 100 gas, and then probably get a Baneling nest down and get some Banelings. And it depends on whether they scout each other, how kind of aggressive they are, because if it's a long rush distance then you might kind of be less tempted to go aggressive. You might think about expanding, maybe trying to take out, but if it's close distances then it's kind of more of pressure sort of game. Close distances, Zerglings can get in the other person's base pretty quickly, and we see the speed going down for Boo and no speed going down yet for SayNoToStim. He's getting a Baneling nest instead, and both players getting Zerglings out, both players getting their queens, so it's going to be slightly different. SayNoToStim's going to have his Baneling nest out slightly earlier than Boo, if Boo decides to even get one, but he could just decide to go to Roaches or try and take up, but he's just sending his first 6 Zerglings over, but they're probably just going to meet the Zerglings over here of SayNoToStim and the Queen, and they won't be able to do too much because they'll probably get taken down pretty easily, so we'll have to see how it develops. And Boo now getting his Baneling nest down as well. This Baneling nest not going to finish in time to get any Banelings out against these Zerglings because they're already in the base, but this Queen should help these 4, and now 6 Zerglings of SayNoToStim. Just push away Boo's Zerglings, doesn't really want to lose any of them, because at the end of the day, the more Zerglings you have, the easier it is in a Zergling on Zergling fight. The more Zerglings you have, the easier it is to kind of just use them up to make Banelings explode just on a single Zergling. But it does look like we're going to have a bit of a fight, but no, Boo's just going to run away as quickly as possible because he's outnumbered there. And speed on their way from both players. A few more Zerglings coming out for both. Still got lots of drones on gas for both players, still a 3 up, and Boo, if he's not lucky, if he's unlucky, will lose his overlord, which is going to be a serious problem, because at the start of the game that is a big problem. You're going to get supply capped, you're going to have to spend an extra 100 minerals, and he is supply capped, he can't produce in units, and he's going to have to spend an extra 100 minerals, so it's kind of in a bit of a bad position. But he's morphing some pretty aggressive Banelings, and 6 Banelings over here for SayNoToStim, and 1 Baneling on 2 Zerglings, and this is where it gets really tense because it's a really big micro fight, and you see Boo sending out 3 Zerglings. 3 to 1 is not a good ratio, and Baneling on Baneling, both players 1 Baneling left, but SayNoToStim's got a lot more Zerglings, so it looks like he's going to send them out pretty aggressive with these, trying to take lots of drones if he can get him in the base. But no, these Zerglings are going to meet the other Zerglings of Boo, which have just been produced, and then we've got Zerglings on Zerglings, and I think I missed a Baneling killing some Zerglings down here. Now Boo's going to have to run away, so you can see heavy micro fight, both players producing quite a few Zerglings, 10 Zerglings and 14 Zerglings, just kind of having to defend, attack, micro these Zerglings incredibly well, making more Banelings, and what can be quite useful is making a Spinecrawler in the base, just to kind of force away any Zerglings that do try and adventure too far into the base, take down any Banelings. And if you get some Banelings in the enemy base, then you basically want to hit them as hard as you can towards the drones and take down as many drones as you can. And we see Boo getting a creep tumor, which is pretty interesting, because that obviously helps both players out, so it's kind of a bit of a risky thing to do, and Banelings, oh, nice Baneling there from Boo, taking out a lot of Zerglings, and we got a Baneling from SayNoToStim, not doing too much. So if you check the units for both players, 3 Zerglings for Boo left, 1 Baneling against no Zerglings at the moment, but 4 Banelings morphing for SayNoToStim and that Queen. So if Boo can send up a Zergling, maybe take out at least 2 of these with these 3 Zerglings, 2 or 3, or maybe even all of the Banelings if he's really lucky, or just, oh no. You can see lots of damage onto all these Banelings, and now he needs to chase them down with the Zerglings, which are much faster, since the Banelings don't have the speed. And then he should be able to take out all of these and send his own Zerglings in, but if they get into his base, they could do a lot of damage. But, oh, we've got a fight over here, Zerglings on Zerglings, and I can't tell who's going to win. It could be either player at the moment, but it looks like Boo might win, just about. And 1 Zergling left for Boo, which is morphing to a Baneling. So close fight there, but you can see it's kind of all on the knife edge, just completely on the knife edge. Either player could have it go their way, but Boo's possibly in the lead slightly, and we see another hatchery going down at the moment for SayNoToStim, just so he can get more lava to produce more units. And if this Baneling comes in, oh wow, that's really bad. That's what you do not want to see in a Zerg versus Zerg. Lots of Lings dying to just 1 Baneling, and now Boo is getting some spine crawlers down on his front door, spreading a bit of creep, which might have been for those spine crawlers just to put them up by the ramp so that SayNoToStim can't get too much at the ramp. But I'd say Boo is in quite a bit of a lead at the moment, both fairly low on drones, 15 against 14, but Boo's 1 ahead on Econ as well. Although he doesn't have that second hatchery, so he's going to be behind in terms of production if he's not good with his Queen. And now SayNoToStim's going to move out with some Banelings, and Boo doesn't seem to have any Banelings of his own at the moment. But he does seem to be keeping up pretty well with that Queen inject lava, and 4 Banelings here. If they explode on this Zergling, no, it looks like they're on normal move command, just trying to take them out as soon as he can. But with these 2 spine crawlers here, it's going to be pretty easy to hopefully stop them getting into his base too much, and he just really wants to send like 1 Ling down just to kind of make them explode themselves. But no, poor control there from Boo, just kind of basically sacrificing all those Zerglings just for that 1 Baneling. Not what you want to see, and more Banelings morphing now, and still Boo's managed to sneak out a few drones, and it looks like we can have Zerglings attacking these Banelings, which is a pretty awkward place to morph from, especially when there's not too many Zerglings as well. So he's going to take out quite a few before they even morph. But no, taking out some more Zerglings, but he does have these spine claws as a bit of defense. So if he does try and push up the ramp, it should be pretty easy to take it down. But Boo's slightly ahead now on Econ because he's managed to push out a few drones. And despite SayNoToStim having 2 hatcheries, he's just producing a lot of Zerglings, not going for any Econ, and another Baneling goes down just to 1 Zergling, so that's good trade there for Boo. He's going to try and take out some more Banelings, and another one goes down, I think another one went down, and basically that's what you want to see in a Zerg versus Zerg. You want to see Banelings going down to single Zerglings, not doing too much damage, and a lot of Zerglings coming in, so he needs these Banelings to morph as quickly as he can because he's going to lose these spine claws. He's bringing the Queen across the house as well, and these Banelings, if they get in the middle line, he's going to need to pull his drones really quickly, but no, loses only a few drones, which isn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse there, but he didn't pull his drones, which is a bit of a mistake. But he does have quite a lot of Lings now, and we'll have to see more Banelings and more Zerglings morphing, and the layer coming. Yeah, the layers come up now for Boo, so he's going to start taking up slightly. And on the other side, we've just got 2 plain hatcheries, so Boo might be able to get some Mutalisks down. If he can pump out even 1 Mutalisk, ouch, losing quite a lot of Lings there unnecessarily for all those Banelings, and now he's basically lost it at the moment. He's going to have to kind of refocus, retreat back to his own base. I hope these spine crawlers can do the defense if SayNoToStim decides to come and try and push out that front door, but he's got these couple of spine crawlers in the back, and he's got the Spire up, and he's got a couple of Mutalisks producing. When those Mutalisks pop, they'll basically be able to just kill an infinite number of Zerglings and Banelings, although he's got to do it before they get into his base and do too much damage. But basically once these Mutalisks are out, it's a good game, as long as he manages to keep all these Zerglings from running into his base. And if SayNoToStim manages to produce a couple of Queens, that might help him defend, but at the moment, wow, way too many Banelings lost there, just on that spine crawler, and now these are all just going to die to this Queen and these Mutalisks. And this is basically it. And if we take the production tab, another Queen coming out for SayNoToStim, but that's not really going to help, because now he's got 5 Mutalisks out, he's got more on the way, and basically just by managing to sneak a few more drones, managing to get a few more resources, not wasting everything on too many Zerglings, and basically just keeping slightly better in terms of trading those Zerglings and Banelings, managed to get out, tech up, get out some Mutalisks, and now he's going to be able to take down the Queen and basically just 1A and win the battle. But it looks like SayNoToStim still going to keep some pressure on with the Zerglings, because that's about all he can do, but he's losing his Queen, not able to take down any Mutalisks, and now all his drones are going to go, and that's it, GG. Well played there from Boo, just managing to keep ahead and managing to tech up. Well, SayNoToStim was basically just stuck on the lair tech and didn't manage to get out anything to defend against this Mutalisk, and didn't manage, more importantly, to scout the fact that Boo had teched up, which is the big mistake that he made. So good game there, just keeping ahead on the Ling and Baneling micro. And I'm going to do this in an FP VOD as another commentary on this same game, just to show what Boo is doing at the different stages. So anyone who wants can watch that video as well.